Discipline gets you places, and discipline makes the unachievable achievable. That's what I'm going to talk about with Chris, our bodybuilder guy.
You need to find the right spot for the camera so we can see your head, including that other part.
Okay, let me see. I can
Yeah.
sit down.
So today on Movement Makers, for those who do not know who that is, well, it's actually not Movement Makers Inside the Readers group. Zen, he was a coach from F. Carmichael, said, you need to show your trademark. And he's right,
Right.
which is about you standing up
Okay.
and showing. And of course, we now also see your head and upper part of your torso. So he said,
Sure.
maybe he should do some bicep curls. And I noticed that Sam did it like really quickly and not with.
Right.
So
Yeah.
on that note, I know how to do that. You know how to do them. So
Right.
maybe you can show it with something really easy, like a bottle of water, something people have in their homes. Because I believe that you don't need something heavy in order to do a great bicep curl.
That's really a very good point. Your muscles don't know what the resistance you're giving it. It doesn't know if it's your body. It doesn't know if it's your body. It doesn't know if it's a rock. It doesn't know if it's a jug of water. I have a jug of water right here. So yeah, I mean, it's not that full, but yeah, I would easily, if I was at home and I needed to do some curls or whatever, I would just do that. That would work. And it would also, by holding my hand this way as opposed to this way, if I'm holding it this way, I'm going to really engage the bicep more than, I don't need to scream, I'm sorry. I'm going to really engage the bicep more this way. If I hold it this way, I'm going to engage the bicep plus some of the forearm. So I'm getting more muscle recruitment, and there you go.
And how about the resistance when you lower it? Because that's a little secret that you must know.
I mean, so here, that's the beautiful thing about when you're weight training. You don't want to just make this weight go back and forth like that. Just kind of let everything go smoothly, and you'll feel the resistance going down as well. Almost like your body doesn't want to let the weight go down, so the muscle's getting worked here. And if you go slow enough, I'm even activating my tricep a little bit too. So you can really get.
Ladies, just look at it. Look in the camera, smile, and then look at what he's doing.
There you go. Yep. So.
Yeah, well, what I loved about it is Zen obviously didn't know what a good bicep curl was.
Right.
And I guess that most people nowadays, they just go and come into the gym and do whatever feels comfortable for you. You look great the way you do, but I also love you sitting down.
Right.
They don't know the whole theory behind it. So they just do something. Don't think about the speed, and all that stuff that's really important to make one set count.
Right. Every repetition should count. You know what I mean? You're going to go through some of the warm-up sets to get the blood moving, but everything should. When you're in the gym, it's not like you have. If you're spending more than an hour and a half in there, I don't spend more than. Oh, if I'm doing a long set of cardio, I might be there for 2 hours, but normally I'm not there more than 45 minutes to an hour. I got to make the time I'm in there count, so I'm going to make sure what I'm doing is effective, and just so yeah, I'm not going to mess around. I've already got my plan, discipline. I've already got my plan set out about a week in advance. Okay, on Monday I'm hitting my chest and my shoulders. On Tuesday I'm hitting back, things like that. I know what I'm doing before I get there, because that's time management's too important to try to just kind of figure it out while I'm there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the things I used to do was, I think the biggest part of the time I was there was because of the cardio, because it's so important to make that count. But then I would do something upper part, but lower part of the body, upper part, lower part. So I wouldn't take breaks.
Right.
But instead, so I would say I'm going to train the shoulder area or whatever it is, but I would switch in between with legs, for instance. So
Right.
I would
Right.
do both at the same time, and I wouldn't take a
Mhm.
break, but instead go on. And then, of course, the upper part would just, you know,
Yeah.
and rest enough to be able
Right.
to do the next set.
Right. There you
And
go.
that's
There you go.
maximum.
That's a great
That's
use of
taking
time.
advantage of the most of the time.
Yeah, that's a great use of time. And by making a look, shortening your rest periods between exercises, that adds a cardio like element to it. So you're just burning some more calories, which is never a bad thing. So,
No,
well, okay, maybe an
that's
extreme, but
true.
so yeah,
So
that's good. I see.
yeah,
You got something new in your hair, like a braided thing? I haven't seen that before.
yeah. Look here,
Yeah,
it's tiny little feathers in there. And when
yeah,
I have my hair backwards, you don't see it.
I like it.
So
That is really cool.
I've got them since a couple of weeks. Oh, I've got
Yeah,
a separate one. This already came out. So this is what it looks like.
that is so cool. I love it. That's
Yeah,
good stuff.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I love them too, but it's they need to put it in there with like a little bead, and then they need to squash it, and then it
All
and
right.
then it's stuck in my hair, and then of course with comb it's like, uh-oh, something is in there.
Right. Sure.
But yeah, yeah. So feathers, and it's real feathers. So yeah, but thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I love it when it comes to training, and I used to have, and I think you can recognize who's really into it because I would be walking around with this little book, and it
Mhm.
would jot down, what was the weight I used, how many repetitions did I do,
Yes.
all those things. So do you walk around with a little book as well?
I actually, what I have instead, because I'm also an online personal trainer, so I have a phone app. So um, anybody interested, if you go to desireforiron.com and become a client of mine, what you do is you download a telephone app, and I have the workouts as well as the macronutrients like calories and protein, carbohydrates, and everything else planned out for you based on your goals. And yeah, the workout will be there. You just hit start now and you just plug in the numbers that way. You plug in, okay, I did 10 reps with 45 pounds of, like overhead dumbbell press or something like that. Move on to the next, and even have the rest period plugged in. So like 90 seconds between exercises or 60 seconds, whatever. And so yeah, I use that instead of writing everything down. So I know I look like that guy who's like texting between exercises, but I'm really not. I'm logging my workouts in. So
Yeah, I love it. People probably they know you need to take a break anyway.
right,
Those who are
right.
serious know about it. So
Hmm.
so yeah, I get what you're doing, and I've got this smartwatch activity
Yes,
tracker.
yeah,
So
I do.
this one is from Captain Marvel. It's actually kind of cool.
I think it's really cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My
So
my. No, go
well,
ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can put in the number of steps, the time of cardio I want per week, and
Hmm.
of course I can. The moment I start, I can select certain sports. So not everything in there is in there, but there's the possibility for strength training, including the
Right.
number of sets and the break in
Yeah,
between. And
that's good stuff. That's excellent.
yeah, it is. And I have to say, it does motivate. And for me, of course, it's still, one day I'm good for it, the other day I'm not good for it. It depends on the way I feel.
Sure.
Um, so some things are in there, but I'm not absolutely not where I want to be again. But one
It
day
happens.
I'll get there again.
You've got a lot of life going on though too. I mean, you've been having to do physical therapy and stuff. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing amazing. Seriously.
Yeah, well, every day practically I am so happy to be able to stand on 2 feet and to be
Right.
walking around without my crutches. I mean, that's
Hmm.
still like, I think it's now about 6 months that I haven't used my
Right.
crutches anymore. And last week I almost had to use them again. I have to
Hmm.
say, my ankle hurt really badly, and I'm still
Right.
not sure why it was.
Mhm.
But ever since I got those braces, or at least I have the brace for my left knee, and I'm getting one for my right knee, it makes things a little easier because I'm forced to walk the way I should walk in a straight line instead of going like this with my knees
Sure.
and my ankles.
Okay.
It's it's kind of fun. I saw it on a video. So I stand straight, and then the moment I started moving, these are my ankles. This happens,
Okay.
and then with my knees, of course, the opposite. So it was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And because of the brace, I'm forced to walk the way I should. So we're
Oh,
working on that, but
right.
it's like you say, I'm happy with everything I can do. So for
Right.
a while, I've been losing a little bit of weight, and it
Good.
stopped again. And well, hopefully it will go on again. So actually, I've got some protein in here. It's not
Nice.
Starbucks.
Okay.
um,
Beautiful.
and
Yeah.
I mix it with water and some other stuff. So I'm
Okay.
still someone who still counts calories and all that stuff, but every once in a
Mm.
while, just let go. So
Right. Right. Well, there's something to be said about I'm getting ready for a contest in about just a little bit under 8 weeks. So I have to be really strict right now. Um, Contest preparation and it's not always about optimal health. It's about shredding as much fat as you possibly can. So sometimes you do some really stupid things. Like right now, I'm probably walking 2 hours a day to just get burn some more fat. But during your just a regular health journey, it's nice it's important once in a while to and once in a while meaning maybe once every 2 weeks or so to just relax a little bit, enjoy something that's I mean I like to enjoy a cup of whiskey here and there, well, more than here and there. So sometimes you want to be able to just relax a little bit because the thing is life is meant to be enjoyed, and we do enjoy having meals with our family and our loved ones. So, enjoy those days because, you know, it, life is about having. I mean, of course, life is about serving God, but also, spending precious moment with people that you might not see again because you never know. So don't. I don't get too caught up in the whole, like I do count my calories even when I'm not in a contest prep, but I'm going to have at least one day where I'm going to enjoy a meal I really want to have, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to love it, and then the next day, I'm right back at what I'm doing. And that's part of discipline is knowing that you're going to like schedule a moment to not just have eggs and egg whites. You're going to eat a steak, or God forbid, have a pancake for breakfast. And then the next morning you're back on the same track.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I always got taught one day a week. That's the day that you can eat just about anything you want,
Right. Yeah.
because your body shouldn't be on diet mode, as we called it.
Right. Right.
So it
Yeah.
needs to reset too.
Mhm. Yes. Sunday's usually my day right after church when we go out to have lunch or brunch, whatever you want to call it. I'm probably going to have that extra. I'm definitely going to have steak and eggs, but I might enjoy some hash browns or some pancakes along with it because that's just a beautiful thing. So
Yeah. Yeah, you actually make those pancakes yourself, like what you eat during the week, right? So it must
those,
be with
yeah.
less carbs.
Oh, yeah. Those are actually just protein pancakes. So I'll take 2 eggs, 2 scoops of protein mix, a little bit of baking powder, mix it all up, make the pancake. It's not the best tasting thing in the world, but it's just there for variety's sake. Because otherwise, I'm just going to have more chicken or more eggs and egg whites, and I'm like, no, I want to eat something different. So I'll make that instead.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get it. Some of the protein stuff, it's like, hmm,
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah,
next.
yeah, yeah. It gets boring after a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. So, so today we are talking about discipline. You already said a
Okay.
little thing about
Yeah.
it. So, um, I use as a statement, discipline can get you places. And for you, For me, it's referring to literally going somewhere, going to location. And for you, I was
Right,
like, it gets you on stage and it gets you onto the podium and like number three, number two, number one,
right,
providing you
right.
with medals. So if I say discipline gets you places, what would you say?
So I would definitely say that if you have dreams, aspirations, but you don't have a plan and you don't have the discipline to follow through, then they're just going to remain dreams. They're never going to come to fruition. So it's vital to have discipline. I mean, and if you don't have any aspirations, you don't have any dreams or anything like that, you're just okay with living in a rut, that's one thing. But if there's something you want to accomplish, you end of story, you're going to have the discipline to push forward and keep striving towards those goals, that those aspirations and those dreams. Otherwise, they're just going to remain thoughts in the back of your head. I
Yeah.
know for a fact, for you and others who know me, I mean, and you look at my little profile picture, I didn't have the discipline for more than 90%. My dog's barking at his toy. For like 90% of my life, I didn't have the discipline to do what I wanted to do. And my health suffered for it. Finally, when I got the discipline to do the work, do the proper eating, and, not make excuses for myself, 47, and I'm in better shape now than when I was 27. So it's just a matter of discipline and doing the right things. And I don't know. I mean, I guess that's about the best I can say. Without discipline, you're not going to not even going to take the first step towards your goals.
Yeah, that's true. And personally, I did a live not too long ago about is discipline a dirty word? Because uh, the moment I hear planning, it's like, oh, really? But you
Right.
remind me that I actually do a lot of planning. I'm just not aware of it.
Right.
And yeah, and I've got this app in my phone which helps me. Like there are alarms on there, which usually ring like an hour prior to the activity. So I
Right.
also know, okay, this is what I'm going to do during the day. This is what's going to happen tonight. And then before I go to sleep, I look at it again so I know what's going on. And of course,
Right.
there are some fixed things in my mind. So on Monday, I know I'll go live with Michael from Wheels and Warriors. On Wednesday, I love to go live with Cheeky Joe, but if she isn't there, I'll do it by myself. And
Right.
in between, I'll just see what happens. But I know that if possible, I would be going live every day, but otherwise, at least 3 times a week.
Okay. Yeah,
I love going live anyway.
it is fun. Yeah, definitely. And you got to reach out to people and people learning, because it's like if you have a story to tell, you can't just keep it to yourself. Going live on a regular basis and having the discipline to do that, more people are going to know what's going on and they'll be inspired. And next, they start reaching out to you and you're helping others. And that's really a great thing, you know? So,
Yeah, and it's true what you say. We are inspiring other people because they don't know you can live the life, whether it is getting in shape at 47,
mhm,
or whether it is like me dealing with something called hypermobility or EDS, and as a result, because this allergy is also a result of it, needing to make some changes, but then
right.
still getting a better quality of life and better appreciation of life than I had before. And, even with COVID, everybody said we are disconnected from the world, and I felt more connected than ever.
Right. Yeah. COVID definitely had a lot of its challenges, especially that was right in the beginning of my health journey, if you will. And I definitely had to learn, like you were asking me, doing curls with a water jug. Definitely had to learn how to figure out how to make things happen to get exercise or whatever. And thankfully, at least in Ohio, we weren't locked down from being able to go outside and go for a walk. So I definitely made sure I took a lot of use of that. Um, but yeah, being disconnected from folks, I didn't really feel that. I mean, I actually felt more connected because I kind of learned what was important to me. Not just health and lifting weights, but being around people that I really love became even more important to me than before. And I made a point of it to be around people that I really care about.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, and I'm curious. I haven't asked other people what did they um, pick up or learn. Well, learn is not a good word, but what did they realize
Mhm.
because of COVID, which otherwise they wouldn't have realized. And it's true that the value of family, the value of friendship, those
Right.
around you, that really matters.
Mhm.
And like I said, for me, it's all those contacts online and having actual talks, heart to heart,
Right.
like we are having right now. We are
Right.
having a real, honest, intense talk, and I
Right.
love connecting with people.
Right. And the funny thing is, I mean, we're across the pond. You're 6 hours away from me in excuse me, over you're still over in Netherlands, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So I mean, we're talking instantaneously without having to pay long distance charges like we would have had to about 30 years ago with the telephone. And it's being broadcast right now to one whole viewer, but hopefully before the end of the night or tomorrow, it'll be hundreds of people watching this. And it's, yeah, definitely the connection is there. Um, and I know COVID, I think for a lot of people, it made us recognize our mortality. Most people don't realize it, but the number one leading cause of death is life, where it's all going to happen to all of us, right? Um, so I think it really made a lot of people put into perspective what's really important for them. And that has to be a personal thing. What's important to you? I can't tell you what's important to you. I know what's important to me, and I know Lady Lexi knows what's important to her. And that's just, again, the discipline to keep going and making sure what's important to you is a priority. It just really, I think it was an eye opener for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true. Um, well, I don't have a lot of family left since my mom passed away last year. My dad passed away like a decade ago, so I only have a brother and a sister, and I don't have family of my own.
Okay.
So that puts things in perspective. I don't see my sister a lot, as in virtually never. So I only
Okay.
see my brother and my nephews, and but I do have what we call sort of adopted nephews and nieces from my friends, which is
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
cool. And I'm actually appointed foster mom in
Oh,
case
okay.
something would happen
Okay. Let's okay.
to one of my friends. Yeah, go to the dog. I
Rocky,
see
stop.
you.
Calm down. He has a toy that speaks, and when the toy speaks, he barks at it. So, I mean, that's what dogs are supposed to do. We say, "Hey, I'm on Instagram Live, Rocky. Stop."
Well, we love to see the dog. Apparently,
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the dog for 2 days next month.
Okay.
And I think it's at least a shepherd. I don't know if it's a German shepherd, but it's a
Okay.
shepherd coming from Spain. So that's and she said you have really good connection with the dog. So please, can you watch it for a couple of days? And I said, yeah, sure.
Why
So
not? Why not? Yeah, dogs are
yeah, it's
awesome.
going to
I
be
love dogs.
fun, and it forces me to go outside, go for a walk. So
Yes.
that's good.
Yes. For sure.
Yeah, I
For
really
sure.
love that.
Yeah.
So going back to the whole discipline thing,
Mhm.
you said that one thing for me. Um, well, my word is inclusion,
Sure.
and that basically says it all. Inclusion is, of course, about the when you're not included, you're not connected to people,
Right.
and being able to make that connection and include other people, not having them feel like the odd one out, but hey, you're good the way you are. That's basically me.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's important for me.
For sure. You know, I have to. That's something I with this built to serve group. It's a very diverse group, and it's beautiful. definitely have made a lot of friends from all over the world, and it is a very inclusive group, and it's amazing just to see um, people with people with just hopes and dreams just getting together. And Michael asked me an interview I did with him, what is one um, what is one thing you would want to get rid of in the world? And I know that it's such a prevalent thing going on in the world today, especially with COVID and the supply chain issues and everything else. People just always angry and so hateful with one another, and it's such a wasted emotion. And I love how it doesn't exist amongst us in the Built to Serve group. It's
True.
like we have differing beliefs, differing political views, and all of that stuff. But when we're there, none of that crap matters. And honestly, have your own personal beliefs, be firm in your beliefs, be dogmatic in your beliefs. That's beautiful. I will respect that and defend it to the death of letting people have that. But recognize that not everyone thinks the same exact way, and you still have to respect and love one another. That's just I think if I know that the world will never have world peace, but if people, just regular human beings like you and I, could go that, think that way amongst each other, let the political leaders do their nonsense and have their little theater. Us as human beings will focus on what's important.
Yeah, I agree. And the first thing which popped in my mind when you said so, I was like bullying. I would like to people stop bullying.
Yes.
And of course, there's this thing called because I can. And what you're saying right now, it brings me to Putin and the Ukraine.
Right.
And,
Right.
I know why he's doing it. At least that's what he's saying. He wants to get back to the way Russia once upon a time.
Right.
But is that a good enough reason? I mean, if I look at those homes, it breaks my heart when people go back to their homes and it's like,
Right.
and they're looking at everything and pictures. It's not just pictures being destroyed. It's their home, which was worth money, which was their sanctuary.
Right.
And it's all rubble.
Right. I don't know enough. I don't know enough about what's going on over there as far as to have an informed opinion. But as far as that, like you just said it, whatever is going on between the world leaders, between Zelensky and Putin, that's something that maybe we just don't have enough information on. But irrelevant of that, there's real people that are suffering because of it, and that's just the bottom line. Whether it's Russian people or like some Russian folks are getting their bank accounts seized just because they happen to live in France and they're Russian. And you're like, well, hold on a second. I had nothing to do with what Putin's doing. Why am I getting punished for it, right? That would be like here in the United States, because if I love my country, but if there's one country that definitely likes to invade other people's countries without much of a reason other than we feel like doing it, it is the United States. But that would be like someone seizing my assets because I happen to be from America and living in another country, and let's say America went and invaded insert country here. I'm not even going to mention one because then someone will say, "Oh, you're part of a conspiracy," But it's the real people suffer far too often when people who are supposed to be grown-ups can't get along, but they happen to have a lot of power to make sure the rest of us suffer for their nonsense.
Yeah, and that's why I use the phrase because I can. And I do understand that the US does have a certain responsibility when you look at the NATO. So I'm not sure if it was the First World War or the Second World War. I think it already started with the first one, but the second one, they formed like a alliance. Like, if something is going to happen, we are coming to your rescue.
Right.
And that's what most people think is actually happening, and are the reasons behind what Putin is doing, because he doesn't want his neighboring countries to become part of that alliance as well, because it might have results for him.
Right.
But this is not about who's right and who's wrong. This is about people, actual
Right.
people, with actual
Right.
dreams,
Hmm.
and it's and that's I was just going through pictures which I had obtained through my father's legacy. So he has this glass negatives,
Okay.
and they are from around the 40s, 50s. So you actually see buildings being destroyed here in The Hague
Hmm.
because of World War II. And then also the victory of the English people, but also the American people. And
Right.
so that's kind of cool to see it. But one moment looking at like, okay, this is what they did, and then the next moment you see it again, but then present time. That's not
Right.
good.
Right. Yeah. No.
No,
It's.
I felt really sorry for those people. So,
Huh.
but
Yeah.
again, it's um, about dreams and hope. So let's get back to the discipline part of
Sure.
it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the reason I said about going places. So you are
Hmm.
actually on stage, right? You are doing
Yes.
well. You're already preparing for one.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I want to say a game, but it's not a game. It's help me out for a second.
Competition. A
Competition. That's
competition.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you end up with medals, or is it just for the fun of it?
I get medals, trophies, like these things I have behind me are some of the medals and the swords. Well, I didn't win a Prince book at a bodybuilding. That's just my thing. But yeah, you get medals. You can get money, but I think my chances of making a living out of this left me a long time ago. I just don't have the I don't use any performance enhancing drugs. I made that promise to my wife when I started the endeavor that I wouldn't do that. So I'm not going to get those huge, massive muscles that some of these guys have, and that's fine. That was my choice, so it's all good. But I don't see myself getting too much money. But yeah, you do get medals. You can get money, but it's more for me, it's more along the things of I just enjoy the journey. I was never, I mean, even I used to serve in the military from 1995 to 99, and I was never, even then I was never in like really, really, really good shape. I used to get bullied a lot, even as an adult, for my weight, because I was always the bigger guy in the pictures. So now it's just the self esteem. I know that does sound a little vain, but I'm sorry. The self esteem of not being that person. It's society does treat people different body types differently, and I do get people do treat me a little bit nicer, and they don't crack jokes with me anymore. And I guess I shouldn't have let that bother me, but I did. Um, so those are reasons why I still at least work out a lot, and I do enjoy the health aspect. But the competition is just a lot of fun, and I've made some really good friends along the way.
Yeah,
So,
and you never have to apologize and saying that this is about self-esteem because let's be honest, how many people are actually thinking they are worth something? And a lot
right.
of people have a negative self-image.
Hmm.
So it's important to actually say I'm worth something, and whether
Right.
that's because the way if you look or whatever you're doing, that doesn't matter. But it's important to have self-esteem. So
Right.
when I got my first coaching, as in decades ago, they told me I had they compared it with a jar. So there's of course there's a lid on it, but the bottom is actually gone. So you can
Okay.
keep pouring in. I'm worth something, but it would just
Right.
go out at the bottom. And I
Sure.
had to learn to actually feel worthy of things. And it took
Right.
me quite some time. And because of it, I've learned to set boundaries and I've learned to speak up and speak out. And now I give people a voice because I know how important it is to actually say, like, okay, you want something from me, but I can't do it. So let's talk about it, why I can't do it, and what you can do for me, or how we can reach a compromise.
Right.
and so many people just give in, and that's a shame. So I literally saw you standing, on those stairs, first place, second place, third place, where you get the medals. I didn't even think about the money, but that's true.
Sure.
But there's of course, you're not just doing it for the competition, for the contest, but it's also nice to see, like, hey, this is what I did. People have taken
Hmm.
pictures of you. Um,
Right.
the picture you sent me was, of course, with you all bronze,
Yeah.
making you pop, of course.
Yeah. 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 There's smoke and mirrors to the sport. I mean, the spray tan adds about 10 pounds of muscle rather easily. So it's yeah, they do the spray tanning. I was eating Rice Krispie treats, like two or three of them right before getting on stage because the sugar would make your veins pop out a little bit more. There's some tricks to the trade that it's kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody applies them, if
Oh yeah.
correct. So it's good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You got to do
So,
that. Even.
and I love what you say about not using anything that's bad for your health.
Hmm.
I mean, we've seen the women do it, and they get the
Yeah.
square jaw, and they got the
Right.
different voice, and
Right.
that's,
Right.
in the long run, it does affect the heart and
Hmm.
everything. So it's nice for a short amount of time in your life, but after
Right.
you will have to pay price.
Right. Yeah. You got to take all the risk into consideration. I'm not going to judge anybody in any sport. I mean, steroids is in every sport. I mean, golfers are probably using steroids, but I mean, it's in every sport. I know it's a taboo subject. I'm not going to judge anybody for doing what it is they are choosing to do. I just know that for me, the risk just wasn't worth the reward. I mean, I'm closer to 50 than 40, so I'm not going to become a household name. I'm not going to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not going to be the next Lou Ferrigno. I know that. So now this is literally just something for me to do, to feel young, to enjoy life. So I'm going to do it. And I have friends that stayed natural and they're competing in their 70s. They look great. And I want to be that guy. I want, like my grandchildren, I want to be able to, play and do all this stuff with them. And then I'll be like, how come grandpa's so strong? Well, because he eats his spinach and, lifts his weights. That's why. So,
Yeah, I'm Popeye.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's true. People don't realize this, but it's the phrase "use it or lose it" especially
Mhm.
applies to strength, muscles, all that stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
it's true, and a lot of people, they don't have the stamina anymore to keep
Hmm.
doing it when they're like in their 80s. But when you
Right.
do, I mean, it makes the difference between what you can eat, what you can do, how you
Right.
feel. And I guess, you are inspiring people by showing you can still do this even when you're in
Right.
your 40s.
Right.
And a lot of people look at me like, hey, you're someone who has to deal with certain things because of her
Right.
health.
Right.
And still, she's trying to make the best of it. And of course, I
Right.
could be way worse off than I am. Let's say that straight away. But for me, working out means I have to do it prior to being a physical therapist. I'm Maria,
Right.
because they have to realign my joints for one. Like all
Sure.
the bones in my hands and in my wrists, and I can tell you
Hmm.
that's pretty hurtful. So whenever
Right.
I do these stability exercises, I throw a ball towards my
Hmm.
physical therapist, and at some point my shoulder will say pop. And
Ah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I was trying to aim at you, but I I can't do
Yeah.
it anymore. And then he just pops it back in again. So yeah, it's nice to see all those friends. Maria, I saw Anna already. There was someone else I don't know, but maybe you do. So yeah, and
Ribeiro.
that's
I couldn't read the other person's name. I'm sorry.
oh well. Let's see for a sec. So Ribeiro, yeah, that's Anna. Anna Christina, and I see a
Okay.
lot of other people. So anyway, I guess that unknowingly we might apply more discipline in our lives than we are actually, I'm sorry,
Uh-oh.
we are actually aware of.
Yeah.
I don't need a dog to make noise. I just need me. So, but as for going places, that's one main reason for me to keep working on my health and to keep working on what I'm doing, and also to keep and regain my freedom, which is really precious to me. And
Right.
so for me, going places was literally, I'm very proud of that moment that I was in Phoenix. I was standing on top of a mountain near a cactus with my
Yeah.
two crutches, and was like, yeah, I'm here, you know.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and even, just going for a mile, just, going forward, that's
Hmm.
probably my max right now
Okay.
still.
Sure.
So hopefully I'll be able to go. Well, actually, I'm a little under a mile actually.
Okay.
Um, but it would be nice, to make that count. So every time I go outside, I'll take snapshots like this is where I am, and
Yeah.
where I
Yeah.
can go to places. It's just, and that's for me discipline. Literally is going places. So 2 times a week I go to the physical therapist. One time I do those stability exercises, and
Mhm.
I'm so happy that I used to do um, Tai Chi at some point.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really
it
cool.
was, yeah, it is. You see
Yeah.
Karate Kid do it, and
Right. Yeah.
it's it's the slow movement which actually provides you with core stability. Well, you know all
Hmm.
about core stability. Maybe you should
Right.
explain it to the people.
Sure.
You want to
Well,
explain
it's
what core stability is?
you might actually be able to explain a little bit better, but like for
Yeah, I
example,
might
when
explain it too. So the core is built up of the muscles from the abdomen. It's also the pelvic muscles, and of course the muscles from the lower back.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and that combination, that's what makes us stand firm, sit upright,
Right.
do all the
Yeah,
things.
definitely
So,
there. You gotta keep that nice and tight, and yeah, you'll thank yourself later if you can do that for sure.
yeah,
That's a definite.
absolutely, and it's what keeps us from swinging, going back and forth,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of people don't know about the core training, but that's what keeps us stable. So that's basically
Yes.
what I'm doing, like once a
Cool.
week, and then the other time, depending on what I feel like, I'll be boxing. I haven't done it for a
Nice.
while, I'll honestly say. But I was like today, like, tomorrow I'm going there again. Well, maybe I can go boxing again. That would be really cool,
Yeah, I
you know.
love boxing. I actually competed once in my. I didn't do any of this like athletic stuff until I was already too old to do it. Like I wasn't really athletic in high school, but I boxed in my 30s. I fought once in an amateur fight. I won, so ooh, I'm 1-0, right? And I wanted to continue, but my wife definitely had better plans. She was like, my husband's not getting punched in the face every day for a hobby. You got to do something else. So I stopped doing that. But I love boxing, and I mean, you can't give me a boxer or a wrestler, and those are two people that are going to be in some of the best shape ever. You know what I mean? And if
Yeah.
I could add something real quick, you're talking about the different activity that you do. Anybody watching this that's wanting to get fit, okay? I prefer bodybuilding because I just like it. Um, but when people say, what's the best workout program out there? The best workout program is the one you're going to do. And, you were talking about walking just a little bit shy of a mile. There's folks out there that don't even
Cycling.
have cycling, sure. But
Cycling.
right. And there's people out there that don't even have any mobility challenges that throughout the entire week, they're not going to walk a full mile. Okay. So no matter how far or how slow, how fast you're walking better than that person sitting on the couch. All right. Our bodies are designed to move, get up and move. And whatever it is you enjoy doing, by all means do that. And, because that's what's going to keep you determined to push through and keep going. And at the end of the day, it's your goals, what you want to do physically that matters, not what some other person at the gym is trying to tell you to do. Well, you got to get the peak of your bicep just like this. If that's not what you want to do, don't do it. Do you. And that's beautiful. The
Yeah,
boxing,
I
the Tai
can't agree
Chi.
more.
Yeah, that's just great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so Maria says she just started teaching yoga classes again, and she's so happy to be doing this. And that's true. So yoga for me is a little bit tricky because if I'm not paying attention, the joints start popping out because I don't have a natural break at the end. And usually when I go to the physical therapist, we actually have to go beyond that. Yeah, so it's a bit of a different situation, but it's true. I I take advantage of every moment I can actually walk. Of course, the Netherlands is a land where we cycle a lot.
Right.
And cycling, for a while, I couldn't do it actually.
Okay.
For a long while, I actually couldn't because I couldn't put any weight on my foot. And I can't tell you how annoying it is until you actually cannot put any weight on your foot. Because I had to change everything the way I would cycle away. Normally, I would stand on my left foot and then push away with my pedal away with my right foot, or vice versa. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But neither was possible anymore. So I couldn't lean on the sidewalk and with my right foot and then just, push with my left foot wasn't optional anymore. And going uphill was really hurting every once in a while.
Yeah, that would be hellacious, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you. And I mean, just this week I felt pain again and I was like, oh, okay, now I remember. But when it comes to freedom and discipline, it's like, and every time now when I go somewhere, I'll just press the button of my activity tracker so I know, okay, this is where I went. And then you have this little nice map on your phone and it shows you where you've been. So that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
So that's one of the things I love to do. And what I also have been doing again lately, because I finally was able to do it again, is play drums again. So there's a whole different story behind it. I'm not going to share much about it other than I can only, that's what I mean. I can only do it when certain people are not around because of their physicality, and it's creating a sort of vibe which causes them to really be achy and get spasms and all that stuff. But talking about your drumming kit, one of the things I'm needing to learn is open the hi-hat again. So that's my main thing when it comes to my ankle. It's that hi-hat. So I like to tap on the hi-hat, on the beat, and then of course open it, close it. And a lot of people are like, what's the hi-hat? What are you talking about? So it's that.
Yep, no, it's actually this is actually my son's kit, but I've messed with it once in a while. But for those who don't know, let me see if I'm doing it right. Is the hi-hat there? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the hi-hat. You can recognize it because it has two halves.
Yep, it's like almost like
two
cymbals clashing together.
You can close it, and that's what the
Yeah.
sound is.
So
when you listen
I'm the guitar guy. I'm sorry. What's that? I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
I said, well, when you listen to funk, you hear a lot of that sound in disco, of course, back in the days. Yeah, I have been playing guitar for a while, but then we get back to the allergies and all that stuff. I'm allergic to nickel, and I didn't know back then, so I had 10 fingertips which were split open, and I couldn't understand why.
And it was the nickel wound strings. Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, they're practically always nickel wound strings, but I love to do it. And I'm going to tell you a little funny story. So back in the days, I had this wooden guitar case, the Gibson guitar case. There wasn't a real Gibson in there, but that doesn't matter. So I came out of a tram. We have trams over here.
Okay.
and there was so much wind that actually the whole suitcase, and again, it's a hard wooden wood case, it was literally up in the air because there was
Oh,
so much wind. So that was kind of funny. Actually, windows popped out that day, so
holy
that's how
cow.
much wind there was.
It's
So
like a tornado. Yeah.
yeah, probably. We don't have tornadoes over here, but yeah, it was the same force
Yeah.
of strength. Yeah, so that's true.
That's
So
nuts.
so going back to the whole discipline thing and about um, getting places. Of course, for
Hmm.
me, it's being able to travel without um, having to rely on too many people
Right.
and never get in the situation that I'm stuck at the airport because I cannot get in for like walking 20 meters. I'll never want to
Right.
get into that situation ever again. Um, but it's also, what we don't realize is by going to different places, we actually get to absorb and see other things and
Hmm.
get a different look, different view on life, I suppose.
Right. Well, you get to see how, just see how other cultures live, really. I've been lucky enough to travel. I've never been to Amsterdam, unfortunately, but I've been lucky to travel to some pretty nice places in the world and some other places that aren't so nice right now because of different conflicts going on or whatever. And definitely made me appreciate what I have back home in some cases, but also just getting to see seeing how other people live and uh, other cultures really seem to enjoy life a little bit more. America's got a really big hustle and bustle kind of vibe for the most part, and sometimes they forget to remember that you know you have to enjoy life a little bit because if you don't, it's going to pass you by, and you go, "Oh shoot, well, sure, I'm glad I made sure I worked that seventh day at work that week because I'm missing out now." So it's been cool to see other places, like you said, traveling, and it also gives you discipline because obviously to be able to travel, I'm assuming it's not a real cheap thing, especially with the price of gas nowadays. So you got to be disciplined in how you do things to be able to afford it, even, I guess.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's why I actually travel a little bit less. So I do a lot of things here in the area,
Hmm.
but really going like, well, my friends aren't here, and I've got a number of friends from the US. When they start touring here, I'll go join them and I'll follow throughout Europe. So of course, because of COVID and everything starting back up again, they haven't been here yet. Well, one
Right.
has, but I haven't been able to get in touch with them. Um, so I'm a little bit more reluctant. Like I'm not going to go every weekend, down the river, drive for 2 hours, just one way, to
Right.
do certain stuff. So a friend of mine has formed a band. I'm sort of the backup player there, and I'm like, no, I'm not going there every weekend. That's just too much. It's too expensive.
Right.
But then again, having said so, when doing the walking, it's always nice to end up at a restaurant or when I go cycling and then actually enjoy the moment over there, have a
Right.
nice meal and whatever it is, and that way. So yeah, it's a little bit extra money, and I do want to go actually to Florida again, but I heard that the prices over there are ridiculously high. I don't know
Hmm.
because I haven't been there. So they are actually saying stay away. So, but I'm like, I want to travel again. Finally, I mean, it's all
Right. It's
open. Let's
things
do
are
it.
open again. You know, I don't know. I mean, of course, I've been to Florida. I haven't been to all 50 of the states, which is kind of sad. But South Carolina is just a little bit further north, and the weather there is beautiful. There's not as many things to do out there, but if you just want to get up along the beach, Myrtle Beach is a pretty nice place to go to, or even Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston, there'd actually be a lot of like World War II history to check out. Not World War II, my goodness, Civil War history to check out if that was something that would interest you. But you can go there, and it's not as expensive. gas is a little bit cheaper down south, comparatively speaking to the states up north. I don't know why. Maybe it's logistics coming from Texas or something, but it tends to be a little bit less expensive than like going to Chicago or New York or even Cleveland, Ohio, which, other than seeing your favorite Instagram person, there's really not much of a reason to come out here. So,
Well, I would love to see all of you out there. I'll honestly say, and you are saying something which is very true. What I need is the warm climate. So
yeah,
the physical therapist can actually tell straight away that same day, like, oh yeah, temperature has gone up, because then I move around so much easier. So
hmm
that's true. And so I'm going to check it out. I basically do not need people around to have a good time because I can entertain myself. I just put all the stuff in my backpack and then I'll just go there. I've got my camera with me, whatever it is I need to do to either draw, write, record something, edit something, whatever it is, I'll
yeah,
just do it.
yep,
So the
beautiful.
only thing is I would like to wait until I got my second brace, which hopefully now will be within the month. That would be cool if I've got that. Um, so is there anything last minute that you would like to add to discipline? I mean, we've been talking, I think, for an hour now. So
Yeah, it's been a beautiful conversation. I know it's 1 in the morning out there for you, so thank you for working with my schedule, even though it means you got to stay up much later than I could. Um, so I think that's something that I know I've been almost talking about mortality a lot here, but there's a saying that I heard one time that our gravestones have two dates: the day that we were born and the date that we die. In the middle is the dash. That dash is where you live your life, and it's where you're going to leave your legacy. And without discipline, there's that the legacy you want to have might not happen. So, folks, there's this. I mean, whether I don't, so I know some folks, believe reincarnation and everything like that, but this one particular life is the only life you're going to have as either Chris Crowley or as Lady Lexi. So make sure you live the heck out of your dash and have the discipline to live the heck out of your dash and just enjoy the ride because it's, after this is it, unless I don't want to get too deep into people's beliefs, but live your life, live your dash, get those dreams done because regret is a wasted emotion and only you have yourself to blame if you end up dying with a lot of regret. So get her done. That's the best
yep,
advice I can
that's
give
true.
anybody.
I was talking to someone and he said, if I die now, I'll die happy and peacefully. And I
Mm,
said, well, if I'm going to die now, I haven't achieved a lot of things. And that's
right.
because my goalposts, they have changed.
Right.
So when I was at the end of my 20s, early 30s, I was a manager and I earned a heck of a lot of money. So I was like, oh yeah, that's good. Look at me. And there was actually a little fun about it because back then I'm not that tall. I would drive a Mercedes, and the guys from IBM who were around my age I'm right now, they would make fun of it. Look, see, small girl, big car. So of course was a lot of fun. But it isn't until I started doing this and finding my passion, which is of course
Mhm.
giving people a voice, which I've been doing. I don't know. I've been a coach for like a decade now. I started to become a therapist. I became it, I think, 2009.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then I also became a coach and I also became a counselor. Fitness trainer was prior to it. Massage therapist was prior to it. But actually changing people's lives, that's what I've been doing in the last couple of years. But I've got a very big dream and I do not know if I ever am going to obtain it. But in order to do it and to leave the legacy I want, because I do not have children, I would like to see if we can work at it, and then we get back to discipline in
Mhm.
order to achieve it. And were I to die before I've achieved it, then at least I know that I died doing it,
Trying. Right.
trying
Right. Yeah.
exactly. So, and it's not just trying, it's actually doing the work. So, and that would be okay too. And I do know I'm inspiring people with the
Mhm.
journey I'm going through. So, and that's, I guess that would be good enough. But right now, no, no, it would be too early. But also, I do realize that um, we can't we can change time as in healthy living, but we cannot
Mhm.
change it when it comes to accidents of some sort. I mean,
Right,
I've heard the most ridiculous of stories, people being hit by a garbage truck and then die. Yeah,
right.
that's
Yeah.
one of the things you never want to happen. I also heard the opposite, dying on stage playing guitar. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that could
Well,
be the best thing.
yeah. Well, and that's almost ironic you mentioned that. So I'm in a band. We play cover music. We play other people's songs, and our bass player, God rest his soul, he passed away right after one of our shows. He went home that night. It wasn't like in don't know what happened to him. He just had a heart attack. 66 years old, but the one thing that his wife even mentioned, she's like, you know what? At least he went out doing something he really loves because he loved playing music, and it was
Yeah,
just so
and
again,
I
God rest
think
his soul. But yeah.
And I think that should be not just about discipline. Of course, discipline is good to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, but also
Mhm.
about living life to the fullest. And
Right.
if you can't, try and do whatever is needed to get there and make the most of
Mhm.
it.
Right. Amen. Couldn't agree
Yeah.
more.
Okay, I'm going to say and give you a huge thank you and a huge hug from overseas, from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes. Thank
And
you.
hopefully we'll talk again soon.
We will, for sure. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, or
You
well,
too.
morning.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.